Okay, so I'm back at the trailhead from where we stepped off when Ace got impaled. I'm gonna leave the kids in the car for this one today. Cascade Canal trailhead, and I'm gonna walk through and show where everything happened. This trailhead leads to this thing called the Nevada Irrigation Ditch Trail, which is a trail that is used for just walking and running and some biking. But in order to get there, you have to take this little trailhead, which goes through the woods here. This is where we stepped off on with Lilu and Ace. And Ace was just running through these woodlines, just being a wild man, as he does. So I was probably right about here when I started screaming. And so I started booking it. Okay. And I must have at some point seen his legs kicking around down there somewhere. You could see his body wiggling. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I came through here. That looks like me. Those are my tracks for sure. I was running pretty heavily through here. That's me. There it is down there. So I could see him wiggling on that cross log down there. I could see his legs kicking. He was just screaming. So I started booking it down here. As I got closer, I could kind of assess what was going on. Oh yeah, this is it. You can't really make it out probably on camera, but that's the flat spot where I was treating him. Okay. So I got here and he's caught on this log. As I get down, you can kind of see. You can see where that's the stick he got impaled on. So he was arched over here. His behind quarters were stuck right here, and he was just kicking his legs. He couldn't get off. Actually, surprised he didn't get more stabbed. So we had this guy and this guy jutting him into him, but this one was penetrated all the way in. So it's a little shy of about 2.5 inches. This one was first on there. Yeah, so I saw what he's doing. I got right here. I put my arm underneath him. You can see some of his fur left there. Got underneath him, lifted him off. I saw the blood just come gushing down off of here, which I'm sure some forest animals have helped clean up at this point. And I carried him over to this kind of flat spot right here where the deers have been shitting. And I laid him down on his back right here. And this is where I treated him initially. I gave Lauren my phone. There was blood everywhere. And flipped him over, and there was just like a 3/4 inch size hole on his, right just to the right of his penis. Right near where I would expect the femoral artery to be for a dog. So I kind of freaked out, but it was mostly venous bleeding, as far as I could tell. Looks dark red, which is not as bad as arterial. If it's arterial, I still would have run him to the vet, but he probably would not be alive. If you break your femoral artery, it's not a great, it's dicey. You're probably gonna die. Anyways, so I treated him right here. I cleaned off blood I could, but it was coming out of him pretty much constantly. So I swept off what I could, poured some quick clot into him, into the hole, put a bandage on top of that, applied pressure, opened up another package of quick clot with my free hand. Then I pulled the bandage back, dumped more in, put the bandage pressure back on. Then I started putting more and more bandage on top of it, and then I put a wrap around his mid-torso while I had Lauren calling the vet. And then I started trying to think of how we were gonna get out of here. So I told Lauren to go back to the car, and there's a point not far up the trail where the trail actually comes close to the road, and I told her to drive the car to that point. I was gonna meet her there. And then I picked Ace up, slung him on my shoulder, and tried to keep my elbow into the spot where he was wounded to apply pressure. And I proceeded carrying him up out of here that way. You can see my footprints a little bit as I went up this way and head back up towards the trail. So I'm climbed up here, back onto the trail. I hooked left. Lauren went that way. Lily was sitting right there. She couldn't figure out which way to go. I just kept yelling at her and telling her to follow me. But at that point, I pretty much assumed if she didn't come with us, she's gonna get left behind. I'd come back and find her eventually. Or she'd find the house. We would see. Anyways, this is the trail I walked with Ace on my shoulder to get him back. I was doing like somewhere between a run and a walk. Admittedly, I'm a little out of shape. At this point, I looked back and I hadn't seen Lilu at all. So I figured she either went with Lauren or was lost. I just kept yelling her name, make sure she would follow me. This is the ditch trail, which follows this irrigation ditch. It goes both ways, several miles. Right about this time, I looked back and Lilu was following me. So that was good. Just wanted to make sure she stayed with me. I could tell she knew something was weird, but she was still having fun, which is Lilu for you. Ace would try and move his head every now and then. And then right around here, he just kind of stopped, went a little bit limp. He was still functional, but I could tell he was having a rough time. Also, right about this time, Lauren came running down the path, which meant I knew the car wasn't far ahead. Got to this point, I'd use my free hand to open the gate, which is, I've struggled with that a little bit more than I should have. Didn't realize it was a pull gate because I'm smart. Lauren secured Lilu. Car was right up here. We got into the car, which is parked right here, and then from there we booked it to the veterinary hospital, which was about 13 minutes down the road, down in Bismarck. So yeah, that was it. I'm glad he's alive. He was bleeding so profusely. Now I gotta walk back to the car.
Here's a quick rundown of the first aid kit / trauma stuff I keep with me when I'm out in the woods or in my car. First aid bag with lanyard system with the internal holder that'll all wrap up. So all these things go stashed away in here for the most part. That all closes up like that. And that gets stashed in here so you can pull it out and lay it out wherever you're working. It's a cool little setup, but I mean, a bag's a bag. As far as first response stuff, so I have these gauze pads that I got from CVS, an old army dressing. I didn't use it all. And then I've got the quick clot stuff, all this stuff except for the army one you can get at CVS. So this is the stuff I did for the initial treatment after I used one of these gauze pads to wipe away some of the excess blood. So I basically opened 2 of these, used one to wipe away the excess blood, applied pressure with the second one. After I wiped away the excess blood, dumped a container of quick clot into the wound, then applied one of these, then lifted it, applied another quick clot, pushed it back down, and just applied a few more of these gauze pads on there. Then I rolled this rolled gauze around his body. So that was the extent of what I was able to do for him there. I keep some rubber gloves, or some, whatever, surgical gloves, and a pair of scissors and tweezers in there for other kinds of stuff. I have this nasopharyngeal airway that probably I should throw away. But that's for opening up airways, and I keep a couple of skin closure strips for really, really small stuff. But this is the major trauma stuff that I have on hand. And yeah, you can get all this at CVS. It's really affordable and easy to use. A quick side to that, after this experience, I'm going to probably keep an ace bandage wrap in there because I feel like this would have been able to, it's probably a little bit thicker, something like this thick. This would have been a little bit better at keeping pressure applied to his body while I was carrying him. This worked okay, but you gotta tighten the hell out of it, and then I had to tie it down, which was difficult to do when I was fumbling around in the cold and he was bleeding all over the place. So yeah, that's the only stuff I would change.